Insidious the Red Door is supposed to be the last movie in the Insidious franchise, and while Patrick Wilson makes his director debut, while the movie don't you hate jump scares? This movie really pissed me off, so we're talking spoilers, by the way. I'll never forget the first time I saw the original Insidious movie. I was a freshman in college in 2012, and I saw this movie with my roommate and some of my other friends in our dorm room, and just like everyone else who've seen this movie, I got caught off guard by the classic jump scare of the red lipstick demon sitting behind Josh. Great scene. I'm not really a fan of horror movies because I'm no fun. I'm Squidward. But with the first Insidious, I actually really enjoyed that movie. You had great characters, great acting, classic moments, and that plot twist at the end of the movie was incredible. I watched it again last October and it still holds up very well for me. The first movie, really good. The second one was okay, but the third and fourth one, hot garbage. So when I heard they were doing the fifth movie and this one was being directed by lead actor Patrick Wilson, I instantly got nervous, and boy was this movie terrible. So we get Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga back together. Wait, sorry, that's the wrong movie. We get Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne back together for like 5 minutes. Patrick Wilson is great once again as Josh, and while I like him in these movies, I prefer him in the Conjuring series. I didn't realize this until a few years ago, but he's actually from Norfolk, Virginia, so I gotta shout out to that Virginia King. This movie mainly focuses on Todd Simpkins' character who plays the son Dalton, and I thought he did a really good job in this. But Dalton is all grown up, he's an art major, he's going off to college, and there we meet his roommate Chris, who's played by Sinclair Daniel or Danielle. Sorry. I never heard of this actress and I didn't really like her character at first, but she grew on me once the movie really started going. But the main characters are mostly apart from each other the whole film. Dalton is doing his thing off in college, Josh is trying to figure himself out and why he feels this fog in his life, and Renee, played by Rose Byrne, divorced him and she's at home with the other kids. Now when they announced this years ago, they were hinting that this was going to be the last movie, this is going to be the film that wraps up this entire story. This doesn't do that. Like, at all. This movie had so many cool directions that they could have went, but they chose the flat and boring route. So at the beginning of the movie, we get the scene where Josh and Dalton's memory is being wiped clean so they won't remember anything, and then we get a real sense of tension amongst the family. It's pretty clear that the parents got a divorce and Josh is trying to figure out his relationship with Dalton. So Josh takes Dalton off to school, and once we get there in the dorm, we get a very serious argument amongst the two. I was in the movie theater like, damn, is this a horror movie or a drama? Because it was actually interesting. The plot of Dalton painting these pictures from his subconscious was interesting. Patrick Wilson's character going to find help for himself was interesting. This was shaping up like it could be a really good movie, but once it started to get going, it went nowhere. Dalton learns about his projection power, and it goes nowhere. We get a demon possession. That should be so cool, right? It lasts like 2 minutes and goes nowhere. Renee's character does absolutely nothing this entire movie. She shows up at the funeral at the beginning, and then she just shows up at the end. For a movie that was supposed to wrap everything up, it seems like they made this and was unsure if this should be the last movie. I mean, when you think about it and you see how much these films cost to make and how much they make at the box office, it makes sense. Even in the interviews that I read for this review, they were like, this is the last one. But we might do another one, just not anytime soon. Nothing about this movie was satisfying. It's like I invested my time and I saw the other 4 films, and this payoff was not worth it at all. What the f is the point of the lipstick face demon thing? He's another character that's just there. He does nothing. Why is he supposed to be scary? He doesn't kill anyone, we barely even see him, and he doesn't even die. It felt like he was only there because he had to be. They defeat this powerful entity that's been haunting this family for generations with paint. No final fight, no character coming to blows with him. You would think with the emphasis on Josh's dad in this movie, with him saying, "This ends with me," that might play a role later in the film. We get nothing. The red demon punches a hole in the door, and then it just stands there and it gets covered in paint. So Josh is holding his door and he's like, "Dalton, we need to fight." And Dalton's like, "No." And so Josh is like, "Look, you go ahead, I'll hold this door." Dalton doesn't even hesitate. He just leaves. And then on top of that, we only get one scene with the 2 demon fighting guys. I don't remember their names. And then Lynn Shay literally has 2 scenes. They put her on the fucking poster like she was gonna play this big role in the movie, and she might have been in there for a total of 2 minutes. This movie was such a slap in the face. What was the purpose of the ending of the second movie? They hinted at this character Allison being haunted by the red lipstick demon, and that plot, say it with me guys, goes nowhere. And shout out to the random young Jenna Ortega in this scene. And of course, this movie has the same formulaic jump scares that it always has. I made a YouTube short a few months ago making fun of movies like this, and if you go watch that, you basically saw this movie. Jump scares are so cheap to me, and they do the same thing over and over again. Like, of course I'm gonna flinch if you blast music and something jumps out at me. I'm not scared, I'm annoyed. I really hate that horror today is something blurry moving in the background. A character or an object will move in front of it, and when they move back, that blurry object is now gone. They do that like 100 times. I mean, the movie wasn't all bad. I feel like it had some really good acting in it. Like, I think Patrick Wilson and Ty Simpkins did a great job in this movie. I really felt for their characters in some scenes. I believe this is Patrick Wilson's first time directing, and I thought it was well shot and the lighting was really good. I'm a nerd for lighting and production kind of stuff. The hospital scene with the MRI was incredible. It was in the trailer and it still had me feeling tense in my seat. It's just the story is garbage and it feels like a money grab. We have no conclusion to the Red Demon. The only thing we learn in this movie is the fact that Josh's dad killed himself. And if the studio ends up needing money, they could just make a new one a few years from now. I guess you could say they left the door open. It looks like the Red Door is on pace to make $32 million in its first weekend. That's the second behind Insidious Chapter 2. As of this recording, it has a critics rating of 36% and a fan rating of 71% on Rotten Tomatoes. What the hell do y'all be watching? I'm with the critics on this one, and I'm gonna go even lower. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10, which is a bad on my scale. This is right on par with the third and fourth movies. It had a lot of potential, but they wasted all of it. This movie was pointless. These movies just don't scare me. Like, they showed a trailer for The Nun 2, and that first movie was straight booty juice. I'm starting to learn that I like thrillers more than horror. Like, I wanted to feel like a foot is stepping on my neck the entire time. Outside of The Conjuring, maybe one of my favorite scary movies is The Strangers. The thought of random people just pulling up to your crib freaks me out. It has a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't agree with that at all. And once again, with these movie reviews, this is just my opinion. If you like this movie, fantastic. But thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new here. Am I being too harsh? I mean, I liked the first movie, like I said. The second one I thought was okay. Third, fourth, and fifth, I'm good on. I don't want to see another Insidious movie unless James Wan is directing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Love you guys. Tell someone you love them. Until next time, see you in the next life.